Okay, so like, let's not discuss how precariously balanced you are on top of here. It's really quite bad. But you know what, we move. Thrill seeker, live on the wild side of life. So I've been wanting to do a reading vlog now for a few weeks. However, I've been in a bit of a reading slump. It's been bad. It's fine. We moveth. Yeah, so I've been in a bit of a reading slump. I talked about this over on my book Insta, which you can go follow, shameless self-plug. But I talked about how I was in a bit of a reading slump. However, I seem to have like semi-kicked that reading slump and I want to make content, and I've not done that in a while, so I thought a reading vlog would be fun. And then I was scrolling through Bookstagram, as you do, and I saw this a post that was like books recommended by celebs, and one of the posts was about Harry Styles. And let's not even talk about I'm actually gonna say this with no shame, let's not even talk about like what mediocre white boys, I can't stay away. And I know that like somebody's gonna find this and be like, he's not mediocre, but like, it is what it is. The facts are the facts, the tea is the tea. Deal with it. So this post was basically, I'll put it here, it was like books that Harry Styles had recommended. And I guess we could unpack here why I think Harry Styles is like a mediocre white boy. And that's like, do you know the brand of white boy? I mean, like really indie, really like, I read sad things and then make music and smoke weed. That's the kind of brand he is. And that's really kind of not my vibe in terms of like reading books. Like, it's just not really what I fuck with. It just ain't me. However, I thought I would, you know, read some books, see if we are compatible, because you never know, maybe we are reading compatible, maybe this is the sign I needed. And so I basically went through this post and I picked 3 books, 3 that he'd recommended, and I'm basically gonna attempt to read them in this reading vlog content. Okay, so the first book that I picked to read was actually 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. This book has been on my radar for a while. It's been recommended to me, and so I'm finally picking it up. I thought I would kill 2 birds with 1 stone, seeing as it was kind of on my recommended TBR radar. Controversial take is that I know it's about like 3 women in America, and it follows them, like femininity and sexuality, I'm pretty sure. I guess over the past like year, I've been straying from reading non-fiction written by white women, just because sometimes I really just don't vibe with it in the same way, just because of, you know, that cultural difference. So that's something I've not really been doing over the past year, so I think it'll be really interesting. Any non-fiction that I've kind of tried to read over the past year written by white women has been DNF'd, so things like Everything I Know by Dolly Alderton, which I know everybody loved, but like I really didn't like it. So that is, we'll see how that goes. And then I also picked up Love is a Mixtape by Rob Sheffield. It looks like quite a small book. I know it's about like music and love and things like that, and like I'm not one of those people that's like really into music in the way that like, you know, people are into music, especially like quite like pretentious like lit boys. Like I'm really not into music in that way. I really enjoy music and I really like listening to it. So we'll see how much I vibe with that book. And then the last book that I picked is Love is a Dog from Hell by Charles Bukowski. Charles Bukowski is one of those people that I have heard of in passing from like, you know, people. Actually, no, that's a fucking lie. I'm actually lying to everybody. My introduction to Charles Bukowski was the film Beautiful Creatures / book, where she's reading Charles Bukowski and then he's like, Bukowski, is he any good? And she's like, define good. So that's kind of how I feel about Bukowski in general. I think it's going to be quite pretentious. I think it's going to be quite like, oh my god, you don't understand Bukowski, it's so meta, And I also, like, controversial take, another one. Oh god, I'm gonna get dragged, I'm gonna get cancelled, oh my god, this is it. But poetry written by white men, like, poetry written by straight white cisgender men, like, what does it really do for me? Absolutely nothing. And maybe that's just like a hangover from the fact that I really hated doing John Keats at school, but it does nothing for me. So yeah, there we are. That is what we're doing. And so yeah, I'm gonna pick up 3 Women first because that's the one I'm most anticipating reading, and we're gonna do that. I've got about 30 minutes before therapy, so maybe this will be like a good start. And then I've got a work thing to do 7 till 8, and then I'll probably pick it up again. So I'll let you know how it goes and how I feel about it. Hello, so it is 9:10 or 10 past 9, and I am watching a debate from our SU elections. I know, a wild night. I've got myself a glass of vino with some of these reusable ice cubes that I'm very excited about, you know, a sustainable queen, and I'm just gonna crack on with 3 Women. I am just about finished the prologue. I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if it's enjoying is the right word, but I'm reading it so far. I mean, so far it's not been too bad. I'm just kind of reading it and taking it in. So yeah, I will let you know probably tomorrow now what I think of the first, hopefully, chapter. Cross fingers. So another day, same position. Promise you it's a different day. I'm always here because I work here 9 to 5, well, 8:30 till 5. Currently it's more like 8:30 till 9 because I've got a lot of late night events on. But that's besides the point, on a tangent. So last time we spoke, I had just got into 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. And as we speak today, I have decided to DNF it. I know, DNFing a book and a reading blog. I think there's a few reasons for this, and I'm gonna get into them. But yeah, I DNF'd it after about 50% of the way through. I really tried to power on as far as I could with this book, but I just couldn't do it to myself. And yeah, I guess let's go through some of my thoughts and opinions on the book and why I DNF'd it. Okay, so before I share my thoughts, there's just something I want to say, which is that I'm not sharing these thoughts lightly, and my comments in no way pass judgment on the experiences shared by the women in the book. I think sharing experiences is really valuable. I also think it's really valuable in literature, especially from a bottom-up point of view, so that these experiences are remembered. But for me, the book was disappointing at best and dangerous at worst. I found it sexist and gender essentialist. I guess a fundamental place to start for me is the premise of the book. I'm not sure if I can even blame the author themselves, or rather the publishing company, but this book is touted as an expose on women's desire. Lisa Taddeo basically profiles 3 women and explains the stories involving their sex, their desires, and love. However, these 3 women are most certainly not representative of women. First of all, they're 3 white cisgender women in heterosexual relationships, and all their desires are directly related to what their men in their lives want from them. Taddeo starts off by saying that she actually set off to write a book about male desire, but in the end actually shifted to writing a book about women's desire because she finds them more complex and like beautiful and like they have more violence. But in actuality, in my opinion, what she did was that she wrote a book about females desiring men themselves, having very little agency in their own desire, their own pleasure. This book is just so rooted in the male gaze for me that I found it difficult to see it as this big feminist take on sex or desire. I think what I found the most infuriating about this book is it basically just peddled sexist norms. It regurgitated sexist views on how women are desperate, hysterical, and obsessed with finding a man. Lena, who is the second woman that we meet in the book, it basically explores that fact that she hasn't been with her husband in 11 years, so she embarks upon a sordid affair with a high school sweetheart that is characterized just by her desperately pleading for him to make love to her, which, I don't know, for me it was just a little bit, it didn't feel right, because actually women can explore and be in affairs for multiple different reasons. The third woman we meet, Sloane, has sex with the men while her husband watches, but she actually has no choice or agency over which men are picked. The husband chooses the man, and I think, you know, if you're going to be in a menage, like, there are ways in which women can exercise agency in consensual relationships. Yeah, that was a problem for me there. However, what irked me the most about Three Women by Lisa Taddeo is Maggie's story. Maggie is the first woman who we're introduced to, and we're introduced to her as she is, giving a deposition after she's been molested by her teacher. They embark on a sexual affair while she's 17 and he is her teacher. And for me, by including a story of molestation alongside women struggling in their marriages, what Taddeo did is she invalidated a crime. In explaining that Maggie reported her teacher years later, right after he was named Teacher of the Year, she insinuated that actually Maggie did so out of bitterness and vengeance. By romanticizing the molestation with the words such as relationship or desire and affair, she erased Maggie's victimhood and implied complicity. By eroticizing the molestation of Maggie, she made an excusable crime sexy. By blurring the lines between consent and victimization, she did an immense disservice to all teen victims of abuse. And that was my biggest problem with this book. There's a lot of graphic descriptions of sex in Three Women, and I don't have a problem with sex scenes in novels or non-fiction, but it either has to be included for a good reason, and I'm not sure there was a single good enough reason in this entire book. This book is promoted as a book about three women's desire, but I don't feel the sex scenes explored anything, revealed anything, or made any comment on female desire. At the end of the book that I did decide to skip forward to and read the epilogue, Taddeo basically writes that her mother tells her never to let other women see her smile because they'll eventually try and tear her down. And I'm so sorry that she lives in that world, but I have absolutely got no space for that internalized misogyny to be dictating my life. And that is why I decided to DNF this book. I went on an absolute rant here, but I just had so many strong opinions on it and just really, really hated it. Yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna pick up Love as a Mixtape next, and I'm gonna hope that I have a better reading experience, a better reading enjoyment from that book than I did with this one. But I'll keep you updated. Back in my natural habitat. So it is, I don't know why I can't read the time. It is 8, no it's not. Let's try this again. It is 6:47 and I am just in bed. I'm so tired today. I didn't really sleep very well last night. I probably only got about 4 hours sleep, 4 or 5 hours sleep. So I'm really feeling the effects of that today. But I am gonna power through with my reading. So I've started Love as a Mixtape. I'm a little bit of the way through it. I'm not loving it. I'm not. It's just very like bleh at the moment. It's there. So it is I can't read the time and it's literally on my wrist. It is 6:47 p.m. I am in bed. I'm really tired. I probably only got about 4 or 5 hours sleep last night, so I'm really feeling the effects of it at the moment. But I'm carrying on reading, and I started Love as a Mixtape. It's there. It's okay. It's very blah at the moment. It's very flat. I guess definitely these are not the types of books that I would personally opt to read nor pick to read on like a regular basis. So I do kind of have to work a little bit harder to get into them, but I've heard good things about it, so I'm hoping it kind of picks up. The perk is it's only like 200 and something pages long on like my ebook on my phone at the moment. I don't know how big. I usually would read on my iPad, but I'm going to do it in bed like this. So currently I'm on my phone and it's like 200 and something pages long on there. So it's, in physical copy it's like, yeah, it's probably about 200 pages. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a quick read. And I'm just going to bash through it now this evening and drink some wine. And yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan of action. Let's do that. I'm fully exposing myself here in my bonnet on the internet, but it is late. It's just before bedtime. I'm having a cup of tea to send me to bed. I'm just having some matcha green tea with some lemon. I'm very excited. The washing machine's going and the kettle's going, so that's why it's super loud. But I thought I'd give you guys a bit of a reading update, what we're doing, where we're at. Oh, let me give myself ears. Do we like my leopard print bonnet? I'm a big fan of it. But anyway, so reading vlog update is that I'm about halfway through. I can't remember what it's called. I'm about halfway through Love is a Mixtape, and like it's fine. I'm not like loving it, I'm not hating it, it's just there, it's fine. It's not doing a lot for me. I'm not a big fan of the way it's written, but in terms of its content, like it's just fine. Like I get that it was supposed to be a bit like more emotional and stuff, but no, I'm not feeling anything in the feels. The feels are feeling nothing. So that's where we're at. I might try and finish it before I go to bed, just so I can move on to the last and final book, which is Love is a Dog from Hell, Love is a Hell from whatever it is by Charles Bukowski, and finish this reading vlog up because I'm exhausted. I just want to read a good book now. I've got a book that I left halfway through, so I want to finish this so I can pick that back up. Let's get some tea. We're back at it with some sexy angles. You can see my bowl of soup that I've just been having. So it is 20 to 5, nearly the end of the work day, so I'm very excited. However, my work day finishes at 8 today because I've got something on this evening for work, so I need to get ready for that. However, I thought I would give you guys a little catch up as to where we are at. You can see my iPad, I did some reading. I finally finished Love is a Mixtape. And my thoughts on it, like, it was fine. Like, it was fine. Did it do anything for me? Not particularly, but could I read it? Yes, which I think is a success considering we DNF'd the last book. So that's kind of where we're at with that, with those vibes, with those things. I don't know, for me it was just kind of like, I didn't like the writing style. I found it very like messy and eclectic and not in like a good way. But maybe I'm just a little bit of a snob, who knows. And I found like the way the sentences were just phrased like really quite like they were trying to be pretentious, but like they just, I don't know, it ended up feeling like really messy and disjointed for me. And like I felt like the entire book was quite repetitive. But yeah. I appreciate the fact that he really loved his first wife. Love that for him, love that for them, even though it was rather tragic. But yeah, that's where we're at that. And now I'm going to continue reading the final book. And I say continue because I started it and read a page earlier on, which is Love is a Dog from Hell by Charles Bukowski. Yeah. That's the plan. So I'm going to do my last 17 minutes of work and then probably do a bit of reading until I've got my thing later on this evening. And hopefully I can finish Love is a Dog from Hell today. Let's do that. So I've literally just hopped out of bed to film this clip. You can tell because I'm a little bit disheveled, a little bit whatever, but I've just finished reading Love is a Dog from Hell by Charles Bukowski, which is the third and final book for this reading vlog. And it was a time to be alive. Yeah, I don't know, I didn't fuck with it, I didn't resonate with it, like it just wasn't my kind of poetry, which I semi-knew going into it, and there are a few that I really did enjoy, but I think for me the problem is like the entire premise of it is really just like, if you like to read about how like I'm gonna put it in such a crude, unfeminist way, I'm so sorry, but like who want to read about how he fucks whores and whores fuck him, and how much he loves to like drink beer, and how he loves to like look at girls' legs, and like how generally fucked up his life is, then like this one's for you. I don't assume that all poetry has to be happy or anything, but like I found this one just excessively crude. I know that a lot of people like say that, oh, like, you know, to understand Bukowski you have to know that his poetry is not like neat and clean and whatever, but like I think it's, I don't know, I think there's something just a little bit more like intrinsic to it than that. It's not the fact that I like everything to be like really flowery, or that I'm like a big like optimist or whatever, but I feel like things have to be written with purpose, and I feel like if you're going to be crude, you have to be crude for a purpose. If you're going to be like explicit, you have to be explicit for purpose. And I think he does it to just be outrage. I think it's like outrage politics, like people love that kind of thing. So that's probably why I don't resonate with it a lot, but that's kind of my take on that. And I guess now is probably just like a good time to like overall close this reading vlog, because I have finished the 3 books now. And do I think Harry Styles' reading tastes are compatible with mine? Not at all. I would say that kind of Harry Styles, just like his entire aesthetic, which obviously is a very like manufactured, curated thing that somebody puts out there, and so I do say that with that kind of like realism to it. It's very like indie teen boy from the north, and like it's like there's a very specific subsect of that that I think he very much so subscribes to, and so it's all about kind of like, you know, it's all edgy, it's all I'm a little bit hurt by the world. I don't know, I feel like there's a level of privilege I really can't access there, in that sense. Like my life is fucked up because my heart gets broken by girls that I don't know, I think when, I don't know, if I think I'm going to be pretentious about something, and if I think I'm going to write something pretentiously, I want to be writing about shit that matters, and I don't think that comes through in these books. So that's probably my take on it. It's probably really unpopular as a take, but that's where we're at. So with 3 Women, I made my views very clear. I really did not like that book whatsoever. In fact, I DNF'd it. I mean, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like 1 out of 5 stars, but obviously I can't do that because I did only read 50% and the epilogue. So yeah, with, what's the other one, Love is a Mixtape, yeah, it was fine. Like Rob Sheffield, yeah, like it was probably my favorite book that I read in this reading vlog, which is not saying a lot because I really didn't enjoy any of the books that I read, but I'd probably give that like a 2.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, and then with Love is a Dog from Hell, I'd probably give that like a 1.5 to 2 stars out of 5. So not a very successful reading vlog, but I also don't think that these what I was reading in this vlog is really marketed to people like me, and it's not really for people like me. And so I mean, I kind of knew that going into this a little bit. Yeah, in my opinion, like it's not my type of reading, and it's definitely not compatible with my reading taste. Maybe opposites attract, and maybe like, you know, this is a sign that like, oh my god, opposites will work and whatever. But yeah, in terms of like how much I enjoy his reading taste and everything like that, not a lot. And that's me on that. But obviously everyone's entitled to their own bookish opinions. These are just mine, so if you have different opinions to me, I'd be really interested to hear them down below, especially about 3 Women, because I know that like people really love that book. So if you were the kind of person that really loved that book, I'd be really curious to know why you do. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this more than I enjoyed reading the books. And yeah, if you want to keep up with me occasionally, I will leave bits to follow me on down there. And yeah, hope to see you guys very soon.